Well, hi folks. January. We're still in January. It's not Christmas yet. Trust everybody is fine. I was at a funeral this morning and for a lady who had lived a little over 100 years, 6 months and change. And it was just a retrospective thing because she had lived a long, good life, and it's brought back memories when I first met her. That was in the early 70s. And I remember her taking me for a walk through London's commercial part of London and areas, and her comments were, England and London are not what they used to be. England and London, Stephen, aren't what you think they are. And it was intriguing at the time. I was a bit taken aback at first. I thought maybe, she was sort of coming from a different angle. But now, over 50 years later, you realize how right she was, how brilliant she was, how her perceptions were. And when you look at England and particularly London now, it's just, well, if you've not been there, or if you haven't, as a kid I was always a fan of England. Maybe it was the old Robin Hood idea that got me excited about it, who knows, the knights and castles and all that. But it was some interesting comments that I revisited today at that funeral. And of course, when you look at, if you were to take somebody for a walk in Canada, because we actually came to Canada in different areas where we lived and toured around and checked things out. And if somebody were coming to Canada today with these ideas of the great place Canada was, I'd have to use that same line. Canada isn't what it used to be, and Canada isn't what you think it is. And you see, Canada began by pioneers, people just willing to take risks and work hard and build a wonderful free place. And everybody's into freedom. Either they were coming because they were persecuted for their religion, or their governments are assholes, or whatever. That's why people came here. That's why people came to New York to the United States in the early days. And when you look at it now, what it has become, a socialist hot pot, ready to explode into full-blown socialism, communism. And I know people figure that is not reality. They don't believe it. Because they're still looking at the world according to mainstream media. The world according to CNN. And most people are not looking deeper and trying to figure things out. They're just listening to what they've been said, or what their teachers have told them, what their professors have told them. And it's interesting. We're watching what's happening in the U.S. right now, going on with another impeachment, and it's hard to understand how people who want to run a country can spend over 4 years, just being vindictive and nasty and stupid. These people all have degrees. Now remember I was reading a military article where the writer was saying that the population is really being overrun with psychopaths. The gene pool has been overtaken with psychopathic people, psychopathic tendencies. And when you watch, particularly when I'm watching what the four fools are doing, and by the four fools, it's Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, Adler, And there's some younger ones coming up. And it's not just on the Democratic side. There's Republicans that are just really as nasty. When you look at these people, you wonder, how can they be that way? How can they be that way? And you go back to the old philosophies, there's good and there's evil sort of thing. You say, well, you don't want to work that out. But the things they dream up and do, the things they incite and start themselves, and then point the fingers and say somebody else did it, and go crazy. Now you may be thinking, well, Trump is an idiot, so he deserves whatever they do to him. But you don't realize you're next. If you don't totally toe the line, just ask the Hall of Fame pitcher, Curt Schilling. They just canceled his insurance because he's a Trump supporter. Think about that. AIG canceled his insurance. Businesses are, if you just look at what's happened with social media, the brainless twits who are sort of just banning everybody. I see Ron Paul was banned today, an 85-year-old sort of libertarian American physician, served in Congress and Senate and what have you. It's, you're next. I don't think people realize it, especially the bleeding hearts who only know the world according to their favorite mainstream media broadcast. They don't understand what's really going on. So I've got some links in the description in today. And if you got half a brain, it's really worth looking at these links. Maybe I realize most of you probably already have. But there are people who watch this or who I'm in touch with many times. Just have blinkers on. Do not think for themselves and do not want to look at an opinion it might change their mind because they're so stuck on it. It's hard to believe how people can get so stuck, but they do. And I'm only, it's getting to the point where we really have to sort of give our heads a shake because what's happening is just not right. And of course you can track this back to, it's probably finances have a lot to do with it. The world is damn well broke. Just the debt load is so high they don't know what to do with it. So put everybody on the slave trade and you won't own anything but you'll be happy. There's a lot of things at play here. So the first links I've got, two are from Martin Armstrong, from Armstrong Economics. And you can subscribe to this fellow. Maybe some of you already have. And he's got some good, ideas and thoughts and facts and figures that he kicks up. But the first one is the social media migration. There's a lot of people moving. A lot of people moving to other places. The world is just not, the world won't fall apart if you're not with Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube sort of thing. So he has two. The second one is on the satire of the election. He calls it the satire of the American election, or is it reality? That's interesting. It's his own writing. He's written satire. The next one is Egon from Gold, Switzerland. And another economist, another money guy who sort of gives you some different takes on what's happening. It's worth a read because his is just a reading thing. It's not a video. Then we have the Rubin report, and he has Patrick Byrne on, and this is another great one to watch. You may not agree with these people, but they kick out ideas that have meat on them. They don't kick out a Schumer idea that is pure bullshit, pure lies, pure psychopathic idiocy. there's no logic to it. When you check it back, there's nothing. They refer you to CNN for verification. And I mean, those twits on CNN, you dig for yourself and see what you think. It'd be interesting. I know when we had the coffee shop, we had these kind of conversations with a lot of people. And we always didn't agree on everything, but we could take an idea and kick the hell out of it. And there was nothing personal about it. It was the idea. Because we both, the people who would come in and we would discuss this were high character people, highly intelligent people. But they were willing to take a look at things and kick it around and move it around to discuss things. And maybe just really help formulate and strengthen or help them see a different way of looking at things. And nobody did that to them. The conversation did. You know, when you see facts and figures, if you're a critical thinker and you're looking at things, problem is, you know, there's a lot of people, they've gone to school and been educated. They haven't been, or schooled, they haven't been educated. And Byrne talks about that, talks about how most people haven't got a clue what happened, sort of thing. And then, America, Can We Talk? I've got the links. We've put her on before. This is a brand new one. And there's so many links that we could link you to here that with the hope, the idea that you do pay attention and tell somebody else and somebody else. Because it's happening here. I see there's some rumblings that Trudeau may have a spring election. And I know most of the sheep look away because they're cultured from York. They don't want to sort of realize what's going on. It's not looking pretty, folks. I mean, what's coming down the pipe? If people don't, there's more of us than all those idiots. And if people don't stand up and say, look, and start moving and saying, look, guys, you're back off, get out of it. Stop it, sort of thing, we're going to be in trouble. We'll probably end up in a world war. Armstrong Economics is hinting that. From 2025, 2020, by 2028 for sure, he figures we'll be in a major kerfuffle. And we already are in a war of espionage and influence and what have you. It's like, if you want to know the character of somebody, you look at what they're doing. And of course, maybe you don't know this because they've sort of buried it like they have Hunter Biden's laptop. This Swalwell guy, congressman, has now been put ahead of he's been appointed by Pelosi, supposedly the matriarch of the Democratic Party of democracy. He has been appointed the chief in charge of the impeachment. And what has this guy been doing for the last while? Sleeping with a Chinese spy. And he's still on the Intelligence Committee. Now, it speaks more to Pelosi and the leaders of that particular party to allow that to continue to happen. You know, it's not what people say, it's what people do sometimes that really sort of shows who they are. As they say, time will either promote you or expose you. So I hope you check out these links, see what you think. And if you don't have to, and if you don't agree or think they're crazy, well, stand up and say something. Get the conversation going. That's how we all learn, and we all come to more brilliance by doing that. It's not being vindictive and stupid like this. What's going on in the U.S. right now? It's just I can't understand that. And I know for sure one thing I do know, I do sense. There is no way that Zuckerberg or Jack in the Box would do what they're doing if they didn't have people pushing from behind, or somebody didn't have some pictures of them doing something they shouldn't have been doing. You know, it's sort of intriguing. When you think Dianne Feinstein had a chauffeur for 20 years who was a Chinese agent. Think about that. How many conversations did he overhear as he's driving this chick around to her meetings? Intriguing. It's so anyway, bye for today. We'll see you again.